What's up guys, I'm going to show you back in the video. Today's video is what if Trent and Eva were both in Total Rumble Tour. So basically in the original, Trent and Eva did not get a spot. So basically I'm saying they did. So Trent will be on Team Victory and Eva's on Team Chris because you guys voted for that. And so from this point in the season to see how the events will unfold. So let's begin. Usually I try to use logic and facts and try to do all that, but I'll try my best to answer this theory. So Duncan's still here because he's rather later on, but he still quits, so we can skip the end of episode 1. So now we're to episode 2. And in episode 2, I think Alejandro still has anyone to bounce on the go, because Eva wouldn't affect the challenge. Sierra and Izzy still swapping teams makes sense to me. I think Noah would make an alliance with Eva, Izzy, and Owen now, because he has majority. Alejandro's going to see that as a problem, so he's going to make an alliance with Tyler. And Ezekiel is just unpopular on his team, but it's not a Heather situation. Oh, I didn't know how to do that. It's not a Heather situation, but I think he's not as popular. I think Heather would try to make an alliance with Ezekiel because she's not really done that bad to him historically, and they're on different teams. So I kind of think they would kind of bond here, or make an alliance together at least. I think Cody would try to talk to Ezekiel to get out Sierra, but Ezekiel's trying to redeem himself from last season. Not last season, in season 1. Now, we can skip to the end of this challenge because this episode originally doesn't really matter. Because this episode originally was a non-elimination unless someone lost their item. And because Ezekiel is on Team Amazon, and I have a very difficult time running the camel overboard, I don't think anyone actually gets eliminated. Trent doesn't affect the challenge. I don't think he'd help their progress to Team Victory. Alejandro would get the goat across like he does normally. So this episode's just made a non-elimination. So Duncan, so we gotta make 3 extra eliminations for Trent, Eva, and then Ezekiel. So we gotta keep that in mind. Duncan quit, but in terms of an actual vote off, no one's actually been voted off yet. So episode 3, the Japan episode. In the pinball challenge, I expect Alejandro to compete for Team Chris like he does originally. I expect Cody and Sierra still competing, and I think it would be DJ. And I think Cody and Sierra still lose like they do in the original. I think Ezekiel would be determined to go in, but I don't think the others would really pay attention to him. So with Heather, Courtney, and Gwen falling out, leaving Ezekiel to help Cody and Sierra, I think they'd win the challenge, and this is where I think the team would respect Ezekiel. I think they'd finally get over him and realize he's changed. He's not who he said he was. And I think Team Victory still lose, and Alejandro still convinces Harold to quit. I think this would still work. So I think he would get Harold on board. He would still get Harold to quit. Even more so because he is in a band with Trent. So Trent and Harold could make an alliance later on down the line. Episode 4 is the Yukon. Now, Alejandro would still flip at Bridget and get her stuck to a pole. I don't think Trent either affect the episode. I think and Ezekiel just being there doesn't affect things. Episode 5 is Bright Baby, so I think Team Amazon win the challenge. Team Chris go elimination, but it's a non-elimination. It doesn't really matter who's there, it's a non-elimination. So Team Amazon still win. Episode 6 is an Aftermath, and Episode 7 is Slap Slap Revolution. So going through the challenge, I think Team Chris win and Team Amazon come in second place. And I think because Team Victory still staying most people, they're struggling to win the challenge. Not a thing I agree with was favourite to the original, so I think it's Lashana and Trent, because I think Trent would want to go instead of DJ. Alejandro, Noah, and Owen. Heather, Sierra, and Cody. Because I don't think Ezekiel would want to do the challenge. I think Lashana still jumps off the platform because slapping Heather. So Team Victory still lose the challenge, and I think everyone still votes off Lashana like in the original. So episode 8 is the Amazon race. So Team Amazon to the right, Lindsay goes left, Howard's Team Chris to follow. And this is going to be the first big change, because Team Amazon is going to lose the challenge because of Gwen. Trent would help his team get across, and Team Chris. Now, everyone votes for Heather, but I think Heather can get Ezekiel and Cody off Sierra because Courtney and Gwen don't like Heather. Sierra doesn't really like Heather, and then Cody and Ezekiel. I think Ezekiel can be easily convinced to vote for Sierra, but I think everyone would just vote off Heather, to be honest. It's kind of ironic when she wins the season, now she's the next person booted off, because this is our elimination. Episode 9, Can't Think and Love You. DJ goes off entire episode. Team Chris and Team Amazon still win the challenge. And now there's a difference. Trent would vote for DJ, so DJ remains eliminated. In episode 10, Youth is on a block. Alejandro tries to mentalize Trent Lindsay, but it's an elimination. Jamaica. So Izzy jumps out of the plane while it's crashing, and that's important. Owen and Gwen still get sent to the infirmary. For now, we'll just say this is the infirmary. Now, Alejandro doesn't punch the track here because he realizes there's nobody by themselves. So I think Team Victory would win the challenge here. So I think Trent and Lindsay would be able to win the challenge. And now it's kind of Team Amazon lose. Cody votes Sierra. I think Ezekiel also votes Sierra. Courtney and Gwen would vote Ezekiel with Sierra. Episode 12, Aftermath. So it's just an actor then off the after Jack the Ripper. So Duncan returns. Now Courtney and Gwen find him, and Noah Owen find Jack the Ripper. So Team's only met Duncan, so Duncan's second prize, so he gets put to Team Chris. But now there are 3 teams. Team Victor's back at nothing, they lose. So Trent and Lindsay tiebreaker. I think Trent could probably beat Lindsay. Episode 14, The Kiss, Gwen and Duncan still happens. So it's Gwen, Duncan, Trent. I think personally Gwen still wins the challenge. The funny part's Trent, Owen, and Cody. I think Owen still wins the medal by himself. The hurdle competition, Alejandro has to compete, and I think it's going to be Trent and Courtney who compete. Cody would compete as well. Sierra competes for the hurdles, and Alejandro has to show off though because he's very full of himself. And I think Sierra would do better than Trent. The tiebreaker is between Cody, Tyler, and Trent. I think Cody beats Trent, and I think Trent would probably beat Tyler. I'm going to say Trent, Team Chris. Trent beats them barely. And I think they vote for Duncan. Now, Chris wants to save Duncan for the drama. So I feel like it's a revote. So I feel like Alejandro votes Noah. I feel like Owen and Noah vote Alejandro. Tyler and Eva vote Alejandro. And then I think these 3 vote for Noah. Sorry, Noah. I think they just get rid of Duncan, to be honest. Alejandro wouldn't really. So I think Duncan kind of goes here. Episode 15, The X-Files. So Owen at Session 51. There's been asking Alvin Noah, so they're off together. Cody still calling himself. I think Courtney Stacks Day wins it, and Tyler still screws up. Trent manages to get an artifact across, and I think they get rid of Tyler. Episode 16, Paying a Dork, Owen turns Emu, Courtney still throws the challenge. The Amazon lose. I think Gwen still loses that tie though. 17, Sweet and Sour, there's still regret build Gwen's face. And I think this episode still gets made an elimination. So Blaney joins, and then we're at the merge. So the only difference in this merge, we have Noah instead of Heather. So we've got Heather here. So the pairs are Owen and Blaney, Noah and Cody Sierra, Eva and Trent, Alejandro and Courtney. Actually, Cody gets the bear, right? Cody gets the bear. Sierra gets Alejandro because he was there originally. I think Noah would get Eva and Trent gets Courtney. Right, so he gets Courtney because that would cause drama because Trent would be annoyed at Gwen getting eliminated. So I think Cody can carry a bear. Alejandro makes a good point of retirement page at this point with all his alliances, so he falls. Courtney and Noah will get Trent. Blaney and Owen fall. I think Noah and Eva would win the challenge because Trent and Courtney wouldn't do that well together. Trent can't carry Courtney. And Alejandro still convinced everyone to go off Owen as with the fan favourite. So against Courtney. Trent because Trent got eliminated from him in action. Cody, Sierra, and Blaney to vote him off. Not Owen. No, Owen. Episode 20 is Chinese Fake Out, so everyone except Cordy qualifies for the eating portion. Trent does terrible, Blaney's out for cheating, Cody went the donkey. Eva doesn't do that well, we never see Noah eating challenges. We do actually have R&R. I think Sierra still wins the challenge though. Now, I think Alejandro would still get... I think everyone still votes for Courtney and Blaney. Sierra's with them. I think Alejandro's with Blaney. Noah's with Courtney. Trent's against Courtney. Cody's against Courtney. I feel like Cody will Sierra, then it's a tiebreaker. So these four vote for each other. It's 8 and 8 then, so it's 4 and 4. So Noah gets Courtney is with Cody. I feel like Noah, Trent, Eva, Cody, they vote for these. So basically Noah sides with these four to get rid of Blaney, and the other four vote for Courtney. So it's Courtney and Blaney that still get sent home. Episode 21. I find as far as Allen's plans to trick Duncan was not paying attention to Washington or Ezekiel. I think Cody still does by the T. I think Noah and Eva travel together. So Trent would just be by himself. Now I think Alejandro could still win the challenge. So he uses Trent as bait instead of Duncan. Now there's a bit of a difference here. Because there's no Duncan, I think Noah and Eva are the biggest threat to Cody and Sierra. And Alejandro wants to get Noah out, but Trent's annoyed at Alejandro. So I feel like he would help Cody get rid of Sierra. Noah and Eva want to vote off Sierra as well. And Alejandro would just go along with that vote. So I think they all verify Sierra. I feel like Trent votes for Eva. Cody also votes for Sierra. Sierra is convinced by Alejandro to vote off Eva. And then Noah votes Sierra. So that's 2 votes Sierra. Eva also Sierra. So 3 votes Sierra, 3 votes Eva. So I don't know what this tiebreaker would be because in this rest there wasn't a tiebreaker. Duncan would have gotten eliminated. So in a tiebreaker between Eva and Sierra, and I think Eva could beat Sierra in this tiebreaker because I think Sierra's tuned, but I don't think she's able to beat Eva. So I think Eva's out. Sierra's out. And episode 22 is the race to Drumheller. So I think Alejandro races to the top. He dodges the border like he doesn't get there first, and turns faithful, and then Evo is also close behind him. Cody is taking the first class by Alejandro, so he has now Alejandro's loyalty, and Trent is up against Alejandro. But I think Alejandro still wins the challenge. Now, I think Cody and Trent vote for Eva, so I think everyone will vote off Eva as she's the biggest threat. As not being Alejandro being that aside, I think they vote off Eva. Episode 23. Drumheller. So Alejandro and Noah Cody. I think Noah still wins the first part of the challenge. Now Alejandro finds a barrel very early on, then extracted by Heather. Now that Heather's not there, I think with equipment he would just do the challenge faster. So Alejandro wins. So Alejandro and Trent. Alejandro votes for. So Trent wants to get rid of Alejandro, but he can't, so he votes for Noah. And I think he would tell the other two to vote for Noah because Noah's done quite well, and he would verify Noah as the biggest threat that's not immune, so I think Alejandro gets the other two to vote off Noah. I know he would see Trent and Cody as a good option, but he realised Noah's intelligence is too much of a threat, and he'd think he could take them easier than Noah. Episode 24, Trent, I think it would be Harold who plays for Trent, because Harold seemed quite keen in the original. Cody, I think it would be Gwen, and Alejandro would be Heather. Now, I think whoever plays for Alejandro is going to lose here, so I think I expect Cody to win the challenge. and then Trent comes second place, but there's no elimination. Episode 25 is the race to Hawaii. Now, let's run things over now. So first of all, there's no plane that rolls up because he hasn't built the plane. And Noah gets dumped in Drumheller because he was dumped in Drumheller. The next challenge starts in Drumheller. So I'm thinking Chris takes Noah, just flies him off the plane. I don't see why Chris will leave him. So Alejandro definitely can make it to the end, because I think Alejandro can definitely run to the end. He's a lot faster. I think Trent's his island self. Trent's redeemed himself. So I think Alejandro can definitely make it to the end. So between Trent and Cody, I do think Trent would make it up before Cody, because I think Trent is just more... Trent is not only faster, but I think he is stronger than Cody. And though Cody is pretty crafty, I do think Trent would probably make it before him. So I think third place... I think like in the actual episode, Trent and Cody will travel together, I think, which slows them down. They have to face a tiebreaker. So I think the tiebreaker is the fire dance, and I'm pretty sure Cody can beat Trent in just about any tiebreaker. So Alejandro and Cody are both in the finale. That is it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. This submission thing will go on. If Trent and Eagle are both on World Tour. And yeah.